it's not over. It's not over. The Flyers showed us that they still have some fight in them. After dropping 3-1 in the series, the Philadelphia Flyers go through a wild, crazy experience, blow a lead in the third period with under 5 minutes left, but then once again get their second overtime win of this series. The Flyers have shown that they are a resilient bunch, and that has been consistent all year round. I mean, up until recently and losing to the Islanders in the playoffs, they have not lost any games back-to-back. This shows a team that is consistently responding. We saw that again. Again, did the Islanders play poorly? I would not say they played poorly, but the Flyers played like a desperate team that needed to establish their game early. So they came out firing. They came out with a lot of firepower, and the Flyers didn't really miss a beat though. This is the first time, definitely, I guess, from Game 4 to Game 5, that's the best the Philadelphia Flyers have looked, I would say, the entire playoffs. We can exclude the round robin games because we all can tell that they are not the same intensity level as what we're dealing with today. And we can see that it took the Flyers a little bit of time to get going. They are playing better. They're not playing perfect. I don't see a game out of them that is, I would say, unique to them and that other teams have not pulled off. I mean, if anything, the Islanders swept both of their opponents prior to even meeting the Flyers in the playoffs. So look at it from that perspective in general, that already the Flyers, this season is a success. I'll say this, no matter what happens this year, this season is a success. You went from a team that was not even counted to make the playoffs, a team that just fired their coach, their GM the year before that, quite a bit of mess. The confidence in the organization was very low, and within, 12 months, we went from being, a team that was seen in a lot of trouble to a team that is now the envy of the league again. And I stick with that. And while the Islanders have played very well, and I think it's a testament to how good Barry Trotz is as a coach, he is exceptional. They obviously have talent. I'm not discrediting their talent. They're a good team. They have the items on paper to compete with any team in the NHL. I've said this in my prior breakdown, if the Flyers should be scared of the Islanders, but they don't have a unique set of talent that is not available around the NHL. I mean, there aren't really any teams in that position outside of maybe Tampa Bay, Vegas as well. They have a very good team, but they don't win just because they have the best superstars. I mean, Mark Stone is their superstar. It's kind of like having a Sean Couturier, right? It's a two-way superstar, and they have a slew of other really good players, right? So where we are today is that the Flyers are battling back. We saw the best game from Claude Giroux that we've seen probably the whole playoffs. I personally believe it was his best game. I actually don't think he's played that poorly. I think he's had... I don't think he's played great. I don't think he's played his best hockey. I don't think he looks like the Claude Giroux that I grew up watching and loved. I would say in the early portions of this playoffs, he had some sparks. He had some moments where he got robbed. But since he's kind of been needed, Giroux's been all over the ice. And even when Sean Couturier went down, Claude Giroux was everywhere. And Scott Laughton did a great job stepping up. So the Flyers kind of withheld that lead, took it to OT, took it back, and now they carry in some momentum. Now, this will not be game-breaking momentum. The Flyers do not have a significant advantage in any sense going into this next game. If anything, this would theoretically be the game where the Islanders could close the Flyers out. But I think we're looking for history to be made. And let's talk about the possibility of, is it possible to come back? Being down 3-1 in a series is a very rare type of comeback. But I will say this, the last time the Flyers did anything like this against the Boston Bruins in their cup run year, one thing that was consistent about all those games, and I remember saying this at the time, was that the Flyers were in every single game that they played. All of those games could have gone one way or another, and I remember vocally saying, if the Bruins can win 3 in a row, so can we. So that is how I see this scenario. Do I think the Flyers are in a positive position? No. Do I think the Islanders have the advantage going into the next game, the comfortability of having that game and then the next one, and then also coming in knowing that you came back with 5 minutes left without Barzal, that your team still has fight? I think that definitely plays a humongous role here. But at the same time, the fact that the Flyers haven't been playing this way and now only recently started playing this way, it is something to consider. This team has gone on win streaks. They've shown during the regular season that they can instill their will on the opposition. They won multiple back-to-back games at the end of the season. They won pretty much every game they had to win. And these are all must-win games. So it doesn't mean I give the Flyers clear-cut advantage here. I would obviously not want to be in the position that we're in over the Islanders' position of being a game ahead. And if I was in the Islanders' position, I would say, hey, we got time. We're in control of the series. We can take them down. But I do say there is a narrative here. There is something at play. Now, Sean Couturier might be out. At the time I'm recording this, the news about him has not come out. It's still in question, whether it's an ACL tear, whether it's a sprain, whether it's an MCL strain, anything like that. We don't know at the time I'm recording this. That is a huge X factor in all of this. And if it's a severe injury to Sean Couturier, that's something we're going to have to be dealing with, not just for these playoffs, but into next season. And let's hope that's not the case. Let's hope it's better news than what's expected. Because with Sean Couturier in there over the next 2 games, the Flyers definitely have a chance. I mean, they have a chance without him as well. But with him, obviously, those chances increase. They finally started getting their game together. So it would be kind of, it'd be a loss of momentum to lose Sean Couturier. So something to consider. But is there a comeback available here? I think absolutely. I think there's something to get excited about there. I talk about this all the time. There is a narrative to sports. Sometimes you don't understand. Even Keith Jones, which I'm sure has frustrated some Flyers fans of late. But the way he's commenting on the Islanders, where he feels the momentum swing, and he goes, I know hockey. I know the narrative of hockey. I can feel the goals coming. And he felt that with times with the Islanders, and you saw boom, boom, they would hit those goals and move on, right? There's a process to this. There's also a story that seems to align. Now, I would say one thing that has gone with the Flyers all year is a comeback story. And I believe that there is a chance here to do that. I don't think the Islanders are a next level team that is impossible to do that against. But it's definitely not going to be easy. I mean, obviously, I still give the Islanders the advantage as being in the lead in the series. If I didn't, that would be an ignorant thing to say. But I think there is hope here. I think winning those games, the past 2 of 3, I think that's important. We expected most of the games to be the way they are now, not the 4-0 loss the Flyers experienced in the beginning, where they probably played their worst hockey of the playoffs. I think that was the outlier, and I think this team, just like Matt Niskanen was saying, is finally getting on their groove. And let's hope they can continue it. If Couturier is out, there will be line change adjustments. I'm hearing rumors of Lindblom. I would love that. I think we all would. I'm not anticipating him to be back this round. If he does come back, that could help fulfill that narrative. That would be a very interesting story to tell. If Oscar Lindblom comes back to this lineup, it would be very interesting to see how the Philadelphia Flyers team responds and what kind of confidence and energy they would take onto that hockey rink with Oscar Lindblom back with the team and playing. He's been in 2 different warm-ups. It's not crazy to think about. I wouldn't say it's likely at this point, but if it happens, it would definitely be a boost. So there's a narrative here. There's something to play. It could be Frost, right? If you lose a top 6 forward, do you go with Frost? But Frost hasn't played at all. Do you go with Bunnaman? There's several other players here, obviously, to insert in the lineup, and Michael Raffl has still been out with an injury. So there are definitely moves to be made here, and luckily the Flyers have enough guys who can jump into center to at least complete a lineup. And obviously we still have Claude Giroux, who is essentially a hybrid at this point in his career, but easily is a much better backup than anybody we have outside of Kevin Hayes to play center at this point. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Flyers fight back, but I'm excited. I'm excited. I think we all saw an energy there that we liked. I think we all saw a fight that we liked. And at the very least, let's lose in 7. Let's take this as far as we can go. And let's take that momentum into next year. I think regardless, this has been a huge, huge success for the Flyers. A lot of people might not feel that. I see trade rumors and disappointments and all that, and the Claude Giroux stuff. I saw a great statistic by Adam Kimmelman today. Of the last 18 playoff games that were based on elimination, Claude Giroux has 18 points. So kills that whole narrative, the under pressure narrative. I don't think that that's the case here. I don't think his numbers have been good in the second half, but the Flyers have been a bad playoff team for a considerable amount of time here. And even this year, you can make the argument that they didn't do a great job coming into the playoffs. Let's see how they respond. I think they have a chance. I think Claude Giroux is a leader enough that he can carry a team on his back if he needs to. I think the Islanders should be a little worried. I think they probably assumed they would be in better control of this series, and this is the first time that anybody is really clawing back against them. And maybe the Flyers found a chink in their armor. Let's see how it plays out on Thursday.